Good morning, Dutchman Creek faculty. Today I will use the Explain Everything app to review information from the 2015 Science and Social Studies past scores. As you can see on your screen, we will first take a look at information by grade level. I will use the legend identified by the State Department of Education. The first area, it recognizes all students who were tested. Next, we will take a look at the number of students who were not met, students who were met, exemplary, a combination of students who were met and exemplary. We also have mean score information and standard deviation. For science, let's take a look at the information for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Once again, we will place the majority of our attention in E, on column E, in reference to the combined number of students who were met and or exemplary. In science, we noticed that for 6th grade, we had approximately 76% of our students who were met. In 7th grade, 74.5% of our students were met. And in 8th grade, about 81.3% of our students were met in science. For social studies, in column E, we'll notice that we have approximately 87.3% of our students who were met in 6th grade social studies, 76% who were met in 7th grade social studies, and 86.8% of our students who were met in 8th grade social studies. Hats off and congratulations with this wonderful data. Now we will review the scale scores, or the school scores, by grade level and standard. This information is always going to be helpful as we prepare instructional levels for the current students where we have. Once again, we're going to take a look at the legend, and the first portion are all students who were tested. The second part of the information is going to be in reference to students whose test scores show weaknesses in a particular area or domain. For the portion C, we have students who could benefit from additional material in those domains or standards. And then D are students who show strengths in that particular domain and or standards. Let's first take a look at the information for 6th grade science. For 6th grade science, the standards or strands include scientific inquiry, plants, structures, processes, and responses, animal structures, atmosphere and weather, and conservation of energy. Once again, we're going to focus our attention in column D. We'll notice that approximately 39.5% of our students did very well with scientific inquiry. We had about 42.5% of our students do very well with plant structures, 46.4% with animals, 43.8% with Earth's atmosphere and weather, and about 49% of our students did a great job with conservation of energy for 6th grade. When we take a look at the area where our students showed the greatest weaknesses, those areas represent, once again, the various strands. We notice that our numbers are much smaller, which is great. However, in reference to weaknesses for scientific inquiry, we still had almost 20% of our students that did not understand the concepts with scientific inquiry, as well as about 20% with plant structures, slightly smaller number with 12% with animals, 17% with atmosphere, and about 17% with conservation of energy. The middle column is extremely important as well. In column C, we're going to notice that those are the percentages of students who could benefit from additional activities or strategies in reference to each of the identified standards. As we move to 6th grade social studies, the standards or strands include cradles of civilization, Greek and Roman civilizations, civilizations in Asia, civilizations in Africa and the Americas, the Middle Ages as well. We also have included in this particular area the Renaissance, Reformation, and Exploration. Once again, we'll focus attention on column D, where we'll notice approximately 54.9% of our students understand the concepts in reference to cradles of civilization. 41.5% of our students with Greek and Roman civilizations. About 48.4% of our students understand civilizations in Asia. 62.4% with civilizations in Africa, and then information in reference to the Middle Ages. Approximately 67.6% of our students understand those concepts, with 69.3% of our students understanding the concepts in reference to Renaissance, Reformation, and Exploration. As identified earlier in column B, we have the areas. As identified earlier in column B, we have the areas where students demonstrated the greatest weaknesses. And so when we take a look at the information from column B, we notice that about 8.8% of our students did not grasp the concepts with civilization, about 14% with Greek and Roman civilizations, 6% with civilizations in Asia, a very low 2% of our students, 2.6, did not gather information in reference to civilizations in Africa, with the Middle Ages 4.6%, and then 6.5% of our students who were just needing more information in reference to the Renaissance, Reformation, and Exploration. As mentioned earlier, with 6th grade science and social studies, I'm very pleased with the information. You will notice that we are ahead of the district as well as the state standard in reference to the number of students showing that they understand the concepts. However, once again, one area which is going to be very important, the number of students who could benefit from additional activities is crucial at this point, and particularly that lends itself to information in reference to differentiation, culminating projects, making sure that the students understand their learning target for that particular unit of study. All of those concepts are extremely important. As we move to information for 7th grade, we still have the same identifying columns, with the area in information in column D for both science and for social studies will represent the number of students who demonstrated knowledge of the concepts and scored very well in those particular areas, while the information in column B are students who just demonstrated some need for additional assistance and that they did not quite master the concepts. Once again, the information in column C for science and social studies will represent the number of students who could benefit from additional activities in each of the areas. So if we could just take a look at that information. Once again, for 7th grade science, you'll notice that the areas are scientific inquiry, cells and heredity, human body systems and disease, ecology, and chemical nature of matter. So if we take a look at column D, we'll notice that about 47.2% of our students did very well with the concepts in reference to inquiry, about 52.5% with cells and heredity, 53% with human body systems, 45% with ecology, and with chemical nature of matter, about half of our students demonstrated a thorough knowledge of the concepts. In reference to where there were some concerns with our students and they were demonstrating weaknesses, you can take a look at the percentages there. About 17% with scientific inquiry, 16% with cells and heredity, 13.5% with human body, ecology, 22%, and then chemical nature of matter, 17.5%. Once again, the area in the middle represents where students could benefit from additional activities, as well as mentioned earlier. As we move on to social studies in column D, we'll notice that approximately 36% of our students did a great job in the first identified area, and that area is European colonial expansion. The other areas are limited and unlimited government, independence movements, early 20th century world conflicts, the Cold War era, and development since 1989. And so as we take a look at the information, about 36% of our students did well with the first standard or strand. With limited and unlimited government, we had about 51.1% of our students who did a great job with those particular questions in that particular strand. And about the same with independence. 47% of our students did well with early 20th century world conflicts. About half of our students did well with Cold War, and about 32% of our students did well with developments since 1989. As if we were to take a look at the areas of weakness for our students, we could see that as the identified area, we have areas of weaknesses ranging from as high as 19.7% to as low as 9.7% for science and social studies in their respective areas. As we move to 8th grade science and social studies, we'll first take a look at the identified areas for 8th grade science. Once again, we have scientific inquiry, Earth's biological history, Earth structures, astronomy, force and motion, and waves. Once again, focusing on column D. Column D represents the students who demonstrated strengths in those particular areas. And so we'll notice that we have about 47.9% of our students demonstrating strengths in scientific inquiry, about 46.3% in Earth biological history, 56.4% in Earth structure and processes. About half of our students, 52.5%, with astronomy, 45.4% with forces in motion, and 60% of our students demonstrating strengths with waves. For the areas of concern or where students met challenges, those areas range in the lowest from about 8.6% of our students demonstrating some areas of concern with waves to as high as 16.3% with scientific inquiry. As we move to social studies, once again we're focusing on column D, and with social studies we'll notice that we have approximately 52% of our students who were demonstrating strengths in the first area. The first area is settlement. We had about 38.2% of our students demonstrate strengths with standards or strands of the American Revolution. About 50.8% of our students demonstrating strengths with the new nation. 57.2% of our students with the Civil War. About 53.8% of our students with Reconstruction, and approximately 52% of our students with early 20th century concepts. Once again, if we were to focus on the areas of concern for 8th grade social studies, our lowest area of concern is with the new nation. Only about 3.7% of the students did not master those concepts and showed that there was a need for some additional knowledge there. And up to 17.8% of our students with the American Revolution. As always, if we were to focus our attention to column C is going to be the area for all concepts where they could benefit from additional knowledge. Once again, this is the perfect opportunity for differentiation, as well as being sure that the students are aware of their learning targets for that particular unit of study. As mentioned in one of the videos from a